Revenge films.
I lived with my mom, dad, and big sister. Our relationship as a family was just normal, but I was going through my adolescence, so I wasn't necessarily close with my big sister. And this happened when I was in high school. Back then, I was having my summer break. That year was a very hot one where everyone talked about the extreme hot weather. One day, when I was reading comic books while I ate snacks in my air-conditioned room, my friend Hans called me on the phone. Hans was my friend from school, and he was just an ordinary, nice guy. He also had a big sister that was close to his age, like me, and I think she was 2 years older than him. But he was also going through adolescence, and he said they didn't really talk much. So I answered his call, and I was wondering why he was silent. "Hey Hans, what's up?" I asked him. I heard Hans mumble at the other side. I had no idea what was happening to him, so I was lazily eating snacks and asked him again, "Hey, what's wrong? You're the one who called. What are you doing now?" "No, my sister, in her room." He said something like that. Then I misunderstood that he found his sister doing inappropriate things with a guy. "Ooh, I bet your sister invited her boyfriend over, and you called me because you felt awkward." I was teasing him. He would usually reply saying, "Stupid, it's not like that," but he didn't say anything. So I said, "Hey, what's wrong?" He suddenly said, "My sister is dead in her room." Huh? Dead? I did not expect that answer, and I sat upright feeling like I was forced to come back to my senses and asked him, "Huh? What are you saying?" "No, I think she's dead. She's not breathing and she's not moving." That's how he replied. When I heard him say that, I couldn't help but yell at him. "Stupid! Why did you call me? You should call the ambulance right away! Hurry up!" Then Hans panicked even more hearing me yell. "Huh? Ambulance? What was the number? 911? Yeah, the same as the police, 911. Oh, okay." Hans was definitely panicking, and I wasn't sure if he could correctly describe his situation. But it would be too late if I'm the one who explains. There was only one option. Use your landline phone. You can keep calling me and call 911 using your landline phone. Tell them how your sister is and your home address. I was literally telling him what to do. Hans seemed to calm down, knowing I'd stay on the call with him, and said, "Okay," and followed my orders as he called for help. While waiting for the ambulance, he kept on saying on the other side of the phone, "What should I do? My sister! What am I supposed to do?" So I grabbed the keys for my bike and ran out of my room. "It's gonna be fine. The ambulance is coming. I'll also be on my way." Like that, I pedaled my bike hard and headed to his house. On my way to his house, I soon heard the siren of the ambulance on the other side of the phone, and then I think I heard the doorbell ring at his house. Considering where he lived, I can only think of the general hospital nearby, so I said on the phone, "I'll head to the hospital too, so you accompany her on the ambulance." Then I hung up. It was a summer day, and I was putting my all into pedaling the bike, so by the time I arrived at the hospital, I was covered in sweat. It made me wonder, as a high schooler, when was the last time I used all my energy to the fullest like this? And I really put all my effort into pedaling the bike, so it's no surprise. When I entered the hospital, I quickly found Hans sitting on the bench. "Hans, are you okay?" I said to him, but his face was very pale. After his sister was carried out of the ambulance, it seemed like she was taken to the emergency room. Hans was unable to move, but the nurse asked him for his parents' contacts, so I told him everything on his behalf. By the time his parents arrived after getting a call, they were done treating his sister. To sum it up, His sister barely made it through. When she was taking a nap in an air-conditioned room, she had put on the timer settings without realizing, and it turned off after an hour, and she kept on sleeping in the hot room, so she got heat stroke. Hans said that his sister usually made a lot of noise in her room, but she suddenly went silent, so he thought she went outside and checked her room to make sure. But once he opened her room, hot air puffed out, and in her sauna-like room, his sister was sleeping on the bed face down. And she didn't wake up even when he shook her shoulders, so he decided to call me. Hans' father said to me, "Thank you for your help. If you didn't make the right decisions, our daughter might have been in big danger right now." His mother was in tears.
Thank you very much.
She thanked me. His sister had to be hospitalized for a day to monitor her recovery, so I went home. By the way, my dad happened to leave work early and picked me up with his truck on my way home, so I got him to drive me and my bicycle home. A week later, Hans' sister recovered completely, and when I went to hang out at his house, I asked him why he decided to call me that day. But he said that he didn't remember anything from that day. Apparently, he remembered nothing after he found his sister in her room. He said that his head probably went crazy because he panicked so much back then. I've heard Hans complain about his sister, like how all siblings do, but I bet he was worried sick because she was his family. If my family member was also on the verge of dying, I'm not sure I could stay calm and sane, actually. I might panic even more than Hans, and I might not be able to do anything. It happened accidentally, but still, Hans had a really hard time. If Hans had no interest in his sister and didn't even bother to check on her, she wouldn't have been alive today. The doctor also said that she was lucky. He's always fighting with his sister, calling each other stupid and stuff, but I'm glad they had a nice relationship. Nothing is scarier than having no interest in each other. It seemed like the incident became a trauma for Hans, and he would sometimes wake up surprised, dreaming about his sister's death. And he developed a habit of checking on his sister to make sure she was alive. It's no surprise thought. His parents were just the same, and they did the same. Hans said, "My sister's usually really loud, and I rarely talk to her, so I always thought she was annoying, but when I faced the possibility of her death, it was really scary." I also have a big sister, but I learned that our family would always have a special spot in our hearts. To be honest, I was really scared too. I regularly visit their house, and I often ran into his sister inside his house. Sometimes I would even join them for dinner, so my mind went blank for a moment when he told me that she wasn't breathing. But if I also started panicking with Hans, who was already in panic, it would be a huge problem. I ended up yelling at Hans back then, but I think I was trying to tell myself to get myself together as well. By the way, his sister regretted what she did and apologized to her family, saying that she learned her lesson. And she said to me,
Thank you so much for helping me. I'm alive today because you were there for us, Richard.
She gave me a cookie. His parents even visited my parents to say thank you. They brought some desserts to thank us, saying that their daughter was safe thanks to me. It was such a surprising incident that happened during my summer break, but I'm really glad my friend's sister made it through.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.